afternoon, I had two half logs laying in the trailer. One was hickory from I bought from a guy down the block, and I was surprised how nice I was able to use the circular saw to cut it and then use a wedge to split it out. The circular saw made nice cuts. I made them like 3 inches wide, and I wound up with 3 knife staves, one a little wider at the end. And then once I did that, I was able to tap them out with the mallet and the wedge, and they split right apart. Now over here is a different story. Here we wanted to try black locust again. This is from Chris Bartek's property, and remember I blew the dust around and I got poisoned. I got poisoned by the dust in my eyes. So I have goggles and mask, and it's narrower on this end and thicker on this end. Okay, and when I looked, there was a check, kind of a wedge check, but if I split it, it would go into nothing and then into the thick part. So I'm gonna look at it, and then we're gonna show you how I use the circular saw, make a couple of cuts. I'll be happy to get 2 nice staves out of this. Last time I made staves, I took off the bark and the sapwood, and you see this white? That's sapwood too. That was in the limbs. I was told I have to take it down to a ring below this sapwood. So what I think to be on the safe side with this project is we're just going to cut this in half, because we got almost an inch thickness of the whitewood there, of the sapwood. So if I cut it in half, we'll have 2 big staves we could shape, and we should have no problem making 2 nice bows out of them. All right, only because I had problems in the past. Only because I had problems in the past with the sapwood. All right. Okay, you can see when this log was split, you see how it twisted up, right? It twisted up. There's going to be a twist to this log. So that's why, if you look here too, in the center, you see this line here, this center in the center line there, the heartwood, looks like a crack. All right, that line. What I'm going to do is just run a circular saw down the center, and we're going to split this into 2 pieces. Okay, what I did was make a start and cut with the circular saw. I'm going to try and keep the dust down. I'm going to try and split it now. Okay, as I'm splitting it, you can see that the grain is taking a turn here and heading up this way. And we're going to let the bow split however the grain goes. Okay, we got it. Well, we have 2 staves with some character cut, and when Chris comes over, we'll have a lot of work to do. Trimming them up, taking the bark off. Okay, it's incredibly windy today. It's been like a hurricane the past couple of days. 35-mile-an-hour gust. But I had these. This was a half of a hickory log that was laying in my trailer that I had to cut up into staves. So I said, you know what? today's the day. I'm going to just take my time and use the circular saw, make some cuts, and then use the wedges to split it the rest of the way. And it worked out great. So, you know, the hard part is taking the bark off, you know, and because it's winter bark, and in the spring it's so much easier. I don't think I'll ever get wood in the fall again. I'm only going to get it in the spring. So, and then this is my nemesis here. This is black locust that the dust poisoned me last time. I had to go to the doctor and get drops from the sawdust. And what I think happened was the leaf blower blowing all the dust away really got to me. Good afternoon. Yesterday I cut some hickory staves out of a half log that I had laying in my trailer. And because they were harvested, you know, in the winter, the bark and that sapwood is hard to remove, really hard. So I found the best way to remove it is to put it in a steam tube and let it steam for an hour. And when I take it off, I'll put it in here, strap it down, and use a sharp draw knife and get it down. You don't want to, as it starts coming up, you don't want to peel it, because what I found out is after you steam it, when you peel it, like you would in the spring, wood, the regular wood will come up with the sapwood, and you'll get gouges and have to work the gouges out. So we're going to steam it, strap it on this horse, and we're going to use a sharp draw knife and get it down the best we can. And we got 2 more that we're going to do today. So just in case you own one of these Wagner steamers and you hook it up, just be aware, you plug it in. It's not like something that you plug in and you see a green light, it starts working right away. You got to give it like 10 minutes. And like after 10 minutes, you'll hear it going. It'll start working. It's working now. Okay, so we're going to give it another 10 minutes, and we're going to put it in a tube and set it for an hour. I have 1 stave in, and you're going to make sure that the staves are narrow enough. They're trimmed up nice to fit inside that tube. So this one here has to be trimmed a little. And we're going to make a nice straight line here. Trim one side and trim the other side. Once again, this is the hickory. Get a nice straight line out of this here with the circular saw. Look at that. Comes off nice when it's steamed. See? But you can't pull it. I learned that lesson. And like I said, I really don't want to pull it. I want to cut it. So I can lift it. I can cut it a little bit. And if worse goes to worse, I know I could use now that, and I'm going to have to on this one, use that, there we go, look at that. Well, didn't that work out beautiful? Beautiful, look. Wow. Okay, let me loosen this up as quick as I can here. Nice pristine back on this here, baby. Wow. This is like it should be. This is like in the spring. Wow, that's incredible. Look at that. Look. Beautiful, pristine back on this one. Okay. It can be done. It was cooking for a little more than an hour. I can't wait to see the other one. And then I realized you can, I got lucky. I was able to pull it up beautiful, like it was cut in the spring. Well, surprisingly, once I got down to the sapwood edge, you know, that defining edge, okay, now after taking off a lot of material, I was able to get down to that edge. I noticed it started to lift, and I was able to catch it and peel it up just like it was in the spring. So now, do I know this is going to happen every time? No. The last 4 staves, it didn't. And the one I just did, and I'm going to try catching it with this one here. I'm going to try catching it, you know, on the edge here and on the edge here and starting to work it and see if I can get it down and have it peel up. The problem was last time, it was maybe a little less than an hour. And as I was peeling this up, some of the wood was sticking to it. Well, because I had to trim this stave up, that stayed in the steamer probably an hour and 15 to an hour and 20 minutes. That might be it. That little extra time steaming separated it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let it steam a little longer than an hour. And we're going to try, and it'd be nice if I can get pristine back on this, and I have one more. All right, to be continued. The Wagner steam is starting to steam now. I'm going to put it in. Okay, on this third stave, all right, the second one is in the steamer now. I used a chisel, and I chiseled along that line there just to create a seam, I guess, all right? And I'm going to steam it and see if that helps lift up. And I did it on both ends. So we're experimenting. But it seemed to me that over an hour, when you steam this for like an hour and 15 minutes, you get better results. So that's what the one in the tube is going for, an hour and 15 minutes. Okay, this has been going for an hour and 15 minutes now. What I'm going to try doing this time is, because it went a little longer, look at that, the extra 15 minutes. Oh my goodness, look. If I only knew 15 minutes would make such a difference. Look, a pristine back on this wood. Oh my goodness. This is a game changer. Look at this. Look. Look at that. Look. An hour and 15 minutes. An hour and 15 minutes. That was the difference. Letting it go for an extra 15 minutes. Look at this. A beautiful, pristine back. Hickory stave. I'm so happy. Got to fill up that Wagner steamer and put the next one in. An hour and 15 minutes. I really love this hobby because I'm learning all the time. It's unbelievable what 15 minutes in a steamer would do. Okay, so I just think it's incredible. Look. I'm going to try and cut one straight edge on this black locust and then decide what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave one naturally twisted, but I'm going to just try and straighten out one and see what I got underneath the bark. The dust poisoned me last time, and I'm going to be a little smarter about it this time. I'm going to put it down, and instead of using a leaf blower, I'm going to brush it down. See what I got. This is no joke. I poisoned myself. It was like looking through a fog. You know, some of this wood is really poisonous, and you have to take precautions. Okay, got it. All the scrap wood from the black locust gets tossed. I'm going to try and trim up a little more of this black locust now. That was easy. That was nice and easy. Okay, now I got to work on the other end. Not bad at all. One more wedge and we'll be done. Okay, just gotta trim it up, but look at the sapwood. See how thick this sapwood is? And that's all gotta come off before we could even start thinking about shaping it. We're gonna take it down to a ring below this white. Okay, so carefully, I'm still wearing the mask and the glasses because I got some dust on here that's still flying around. But I trimmed up this stave. pretty nice. Take a look at it. Okay, it's not too bad. Okay, this is going to go back in the trailer, and we'll see what we're going to do with it. But the interesting thing is, underneath the bark layer, you see all this white? That's got to be removed. That's sapwood. So you're not left with a lot to work with. All right, so we'll see what happens. But, okay, so while I was steaming today, I shaped up these black locust logs. Not quite a stave, but it's not too bad. And I know this is from Chris Bartek's property. So we got one here that maybe he could make a bow out of. And the second one we'll try. Be honest with you, I really could care less if I make a bow out of this stuff after poisoning myself last time. I know it makes a great bow. But I'm just happy that I found out while I'm steaming here that an extra 15 minutes on that steamer, I'm able to take winter bark off of hickory. It just needed that extra hour, needed that extra 15 minutes to be able to separate the bark and the cambium and peel it off like a banana. Amazing, you know. So I accomplished a lot today. I got 2 pristine staves, and hopefully there'll be another one coming out in a little while, and we'll be able to peel the back off of that one too. But here we go. Poison black locust, trying again. Okay, let's see with that hour and 15 minutes if we can go for 3 out of 3 perfect staves here. Look at this, unbelievable. Who would think that 15 more minutes of steaming would allow you to take off winter bark and sap? Look at this, a pristine back. Unbelievable. Another pristine back. The key is an hour and 15 minutes. Wow, look at that. Beautiful, pristine back. Three beautiful staves with winter bark that came off with steaming an hour and 15 minutes. Beautiful. So happy, incredible. Okay, so you can see now we got those 3 beautiful, pristine staves of hickory, and we got that 1 black locust that I have trimmed up, and we should be able to take the twist out of that. And I used a lot of precautions. And the interesting thing was nobody ever mentioned that it was poisonous or irritant. And one of the guys commented when I made that bow and I had that reaction, I had to go to the doctor and get eye drops, that he said after he made his bow, he had difficulty breathing. He had breathing problems. And just putting this out there, if you know guys that make these bows with black locust, yeah, it's a good wood, make beautiful bows. But this is something that you don't want to get in your lungs, right? Who knows what it could do to you over time, the dust, all right? So just use precautions, wear a mask, goggles. I poisoned myself with the leaf blower. When I blew all the dust off over the place, I put 1 million particles in the air. And it was no joke. When I went in at night and I'm sitting there trying to watch TV and I'm looking, and it looked like I was in a fog, like there was fire in the house and smoke. I couldn't see clearly. And I went to the doctor to walk in, and sure enough, yeah, you poisoned yourself with the black locust dust. So that's all. Give you a little heads up and share my progress with taking winter bark off. An hour and 15 minutes in that steamer. Okay, I have a video you can check out on how I made this tube and steamer. And I have a short tube that I make for the recurves. I do like half the bow. But this is a 12-foot drainage pipe you get. That Schedule 40 is like through the roof. I think I paid like $14, $15 for this 12-foot section. And it looks like it's got black inside. I don't know if it's rubber or whatever, but it works real good, as you can see. And an end cap, and I have a hole for the water to drain on the end cap. But the only thing is, because it's so hot, I have a little crutch there. You see the crutch I made with a little fork? If I didn't have that there, the nozzle would heat up and bend down, okay? It is what it is. You know, you gotta adapt. You gotta adapt to the situation. So that's it. You get that 12-foot length. You make a short one for steaming recurves. You know, make it for like half the bow length. You know, like 36 inches, 38 inches, whatever. You know, for a 72-inch bow, you make it half. And for these, you use the other piece, the long piece, save it for when you want to take the bark off, all right? Works great. All I can tell you is like night and day. I was struggling before, and an extra 15 minutes in the steamer worked wonders. All right, that's it for this video of prepping the staves, and watch my other videos on Bare Bow Joe.